Welcome to Dr Joe Unplugged. This podcast contains general information and is not in any way medical advice. Today it is my great pleasure to welcome to the show Tom Shiyoya, who I've known for 16 plus years. And Tom, apart from being a close personal friend of mine, is also a trainer and has been keeping me in shape, as it were, Tom, for those 16 years.
Yes.
We work out a couple of times a week.
We do it together.
So it's great to have you on the show, and want to get a little bit more later into your journey and what you're doing now in terms of mental as well as physical health. But first up, for those who don't know you, and there might be a couple of people out there who don't, I suppose most people do, tell us a little bit about how your journey has been from being born in Kenya and working your way to Australia and where you are today.
Now, first, Joe, I just want to say I'm really grateful for you to actually even get me here to be able to talk to you. It's a pleasure, and I'm really thankful for that. I've known you for so long, and I wish I had things that I can say so people to understand how grateful I am to have a person, not only a client, but a friend, a close friend. And when I say that, some of the encounters we've been through together, I'm very grateful. So I'm really honored to be here today, and I would like just to keep it real with you and take it from there. Yeah, my journey to coming to Australia was a very rough journey, to be honest with you. I could say this and I'll be deported tomorrow, but I'm just going to say, like any other person maybe who's come to Australia through different ways, before coming here, I had three options to go to South Africa, UK, or to come to Australia. I chose Australia because the other two places, my brother and my sister were there, so I wanted that independent. Mm-hmm. But I forged everything, to be honest. I'm not lying to you. I forged everything. I forged everything from bank account, from saying, I passed my exams to be able to qualify to come to TAFE here. So it was a very rough way, and I didn't even know where I was going. So I just wanted to be able to get away. And when you're in Africa, one of the things that you think is out there in a first world country, you think life is easy. You think money grows on trees. So, I forged that. I forged everything to get here. And when I got here, I was thinking I'm going to a place where my life is just going to be easy and I'm going to be rich. Because the things that we see on TV, we see all these beautiful houses, big cars in a first world country. So for me, I thought that's what I was working towards.
I mean, is that, as a child in Kenya, I mean, is that from TV, you get this impression of what the West, in inverted commas, and that includes America, Australia, probably UK, and other Western countries, that's what they're like, and you just have to show up and that'll be you as well?
You only see big houses, composed families, and when you're looking at maybe in the early 2000s or 80s or 90s, in the sense, there was not so many places that were showing real life. Now we are privileged that people can post real life people. There's more people who are authentic now. Yeah. But I think those days the TV was very censored in a sense of showing you what they want you to see. So we only saw the good part. Like memories of home and away. You look at people on the beach. Right. Yeah, this is the home and the beach, beautiful food and everything. And so that's the life you kind of think that is where what it is. Mm-hmm. You didn't see the hardship that you have to work hard. You didn't see that. You only saw the good things, and then you see Hollywood in America. Yes. Yeah. That's what is shown on TV, and so you think by getting out of Africa or in Kenya, where I spend most of my time, that's what you're going to. Yeah.
And what was it like growing up in Kenya?
Growing up in Kenya, we were a family of 9, and out of those 9, I never met one of my brother who was called Kennedy. So we brought up in a very big family, and one of the things that I had to learn, which I'm very poor now, was keeping time, because we had you had to be home for lunch or dinner. Mm-hmm. Since we were 9 of us, And my mom was an amazing woman because she also took over the whole of the clan. So we at lunchtime we'll have maybe 10, 12, 13 people, my cousins around. So if you missed lunchtime, there was no fridge, there was no, I'm going to keep this food for you or kind of thing. It was just a fast come, fast serve if you're not there. So
so it was more than just your immediate family would come for lunch at your house.
Yeah. I don't remember the time we actually, I don't even remember the time we were just as immediate family. I don't actually remember even up to now when I go home. There's no time you know, it's very different here where you can only have your family sitting on a table and talking. But being brought up, we never had that. We always had extra people in the room, whether it's your cousin, whether it's the neighbor, whether it's your uncle's uncle, whether it's your auntie. We never had that time just as a family. So it wasn't bad. I'm not saying that was bad.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
what I knew. And it was like a community. We just grew up as a community. So it was good. Looking at it, that was good. But when you look at it now, because I've come to Australia and been here for 20 years and I've seen different lives, I'm like, whoa, maybe I missed out on just having that quality time with my brothers, my sisters, and my siblings, you know? But at that time, it was the best time. And you know, some of the best memories was at dinner.
Yeah.
Where maybe once in a blue moon, maybe once after every 6 months, we'll have something like chicken or beef or something like that. And
So that would be a treat.
That would be a treat. And that would be maybe Christmas or something has happened.
Yeah.
And we used to use lamps, you know, at night.
Yeah.
And my older brother will blow. It's like a candle. He will blow it and it will go dark. And by the time we find a matchbox to light it, he would have taken everybody's food and eaten it. So it was actually I look at it now and like, it's very funny. And it was. Yeah.
I mean, large families, if you go probably 3 generations back in Australia, I mean, there were also larger families.
Yeah.
And I think typically as countries develop, in inverted commas, families become smaller.
Yeah.
But there's also that loss of connection. And an issue in Western societies is people are quite lonely and isolated and quite separated from their families.
Yeah.
So that sort of experience growing up, I think, is something to treasure, notwithstanding that might have had I'm sure it had its moments.
Yeah. It's different because we up to now, I don't think there is so much family of this is the family. I've been away for 20 years, so I stand to be corrected. But even now when I go back home, you find there's maybe 4 or 5 people who are not part of your family who are extended. But here, it's more, you know, there's a time where you just can meet as a family. Yeah. But there, even when I was there maybe 4 months ago, it's still the same. It's still the clan mentality, the community mentality and kind of thing, which is good because I feel like we need that here.
Yes.
Yeah, we need here. We're very isolated.
Look, and that is a problem, and it contributes, in my opinion, to some of the mental health issues that we see, that people sit in their rooms, and particularly with teenagers, just on their devices, quite disconnected from other people in the real world. But we'll come back to that. But so you've landed in Australia about 20 years ago, expecting to sort of arrive on the set of Home and Away.
Yes.
Maybe not. And you said to me at some time, because you've run 3 gyms, that you've sort of landed here and you've worked your way to the point where you're a successful businessman. How's some of that journey been?
No, the first thing that happened to me when I landed here, I got to the airport and I was like, I didn't actually know what I was doing. I got on the airport and I found this old guy had my name. I don't even know how, because there was somebody who was helping me to fill all this paperwork back in Kenya. He had my name, Tom Shiyoya, so I went to him.
To escort you to the limo, hey?
It was a taxi, which I'm very lucky I had a taxi because I wouldn't know what to do. And the guy goes, good, I might. And for a moment, I thought, what is he saying? I chose Australia because they spoke English. And it just hit me. It was like, what is he talking about? I said, what? And he said, good, I might. And I didn't understand. I said, how are you going? And then he actually realized that I didn't know what he was saying. But when I landed here, I took the taxi, or the taxi guy, we got into his taxi, and he asked me, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to TEF. He goes, no, it's a Saturday. TEF is closed.
Yeah.
I said, no, that's where I'm going. He goes, no, TEF is closed. TEF is a place where people go study and go home. Where are you staying? I said, that's where I'm staying.
Right.
I didn't have anywhere to go.
So you had some college accommodation lined up.
I didn't have any accommodation.
No
lined up.
accommodation.
Yeah, for me, what I knew was TEF is where I'm going.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think because somebody paid for me a bit of money, I thought that's where, with that money, the accommodation
So you'd
should
live
be there.
on campus, which I don't think, I mean, some universities have, but I don't think TAFE has live-in accommodation.
I had no idea.
All right.
This is how much I didn't know anything, Joe. Yeah, I didn't know anything. So the guy goes, TEF is closed, you cannot go there. And I say, so what are you going to do with me? He goes, that's not my problem. You need to tell me where I have to drop you.
Yeah.
I said to the guy, oh, can you drop me somewhere where there's a cheap accommodation?
Mm-hmm. And you've got your luggage and you've just migrated from Kenya.
Yeah.
So you've got all your possessions with you.
Exactly. So the guy was good. He dropped me on in the city next to the library.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. There's a backpackers there. And I had $200 Australian dollars in my pocket. I changed it at the airport. And so when I came in, I just paid for 4 nights, which was $20 each day. I paid for 4 nights in one of the backpackers' place. It was a room like this with 4 beds, so one up, one down, and all that. And so the first thing I did was to try and find food, but I didn't know where to go. So I went to a common area where everybody was sitting, and ta-la, I found gold. I found a Kenyan guy, a black guy sitting there, and the entire trip from Dubai to Australia, all I wanted to see was a black person.
Okay.
That's it, because I felt I was really out of my zone. I met him. We spoke, and we had instant connection because we all came from Kenya. We started speaking our language.
Yeah.
Within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, he said he was going to get some food. And I said to him, oh, I'm just new here. Can you get me some food?
So he'd been here for a little while,
Yeah,
so he knew a little bit the lie of the land.
Yeah, exactly. He said, oh, if you have money, I'll go and get you some food and come back. I said, I just need some rice. And I gave him $100 out of the $200 I had, and I had paid $60 for the accommodation. Up to now, I've never seen the guy.
Oh, no.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, no.
I'm still waiting for that. Now,
you never got the rice.
I never got the rice. I never got the guy never came back. I never got my $100. Now I have $40 remaining between me and
That's not a great introduction. You arrive at the airport. They speak a funny language.
Good
you go to get something to eat, and the guy just rips you off.
And this is the guy I really wanted to see because he was a Kenyan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought knowing somebody from Kenya would be even magical. So that is how I was introduced to Australia.
All right. Well, on the plus side, it's all got to be uphill. Basically, it's all got to be better than that from that start point. No, it doesn't get better.
So I had to find a job. I had to find a job very quickly because now I've got $40. I have to, I think in 3 days, my accommodation is running out. I have no food. I don't know where to go. I started walking the street and I found a pool place on Bayford Street.
Oh, yeah.
And I asked for a job there. And they were paying me $10. No, they were paying me $15 from 2 in the evening to 8 at night. Okay. And I took the job. But when I was there, somebody else came and started talking to me, and they offered to pay me $50 to work from 8 in the morning up to 4 in the evening.
Doing
construction.
What? Right.
Yeah, so he used to do pools, so I had to do the concrete, to mix the concrete and everything. And to be honest,
construction work.
Yeah, construction work.
Like a builder's labourer.
Exactly. Okay. And I was in heaven. From 8 in the morning to 4 in the evening for $50, I was as happy as it comes. I didn't know I was...
So on the first day, you've made more than what you brought with you from Kenya.
Exactly. So I was very happy. So that's what I started doing. I worked there for maybe 3 weeks. And until I started going to TEF.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that's how I started, paying my rent and paying my accommodation and starting. And so I didn't understand that I was being exploited because this guy got free labor from 8 in the morning up to 3 in the evening for $50 the whole day.
Hang on, $50 for the day or $50 an hour?
No, $50 for the whole day.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
for the
so
whole day.
that is quite, yes.
Yeah, I didn't know better.
Okay.
So I just thought this, and it was cash money.
All right.
Yeah, cash.
Has its advantages.
Yeah. So that was my introduction.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I thought he was paying you $50 an hour.
No,
You
no,
landed
I'll
well, no,
go
$50 a day.
Yeah.
No, that's eek.
The whole day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is how I introduced myself to Australia. It didn't stop there. The following week, after 4 weeks or 3 weeks, I had to go to TAFE. And I walked into TAFE, I think I was 23, and everybody in my class was 16.
Okay.
16, 17.
Yeah.
It was a shock to my system. Some of the best memories in TAFE was me walking in a library with the whole group and the lecturer saying, please put on the computer. And I looked at the computer. I thought my computer had a problem because it wouldn't come up.
Right.
And the rest of the student, their computer was on and they're doing things like this. And I was just sitting there looking at it. It took the lecturer 15 minutes to realize this guy has got no idea.
I'm guessing you've not seen a computer
Never
before at this
Nah.
at this point in your life?
I've seen a computer, but somebody was doing it for me.
Yeah. So you've not actually operated or used a computer?
Never. Didn't know how to switch it on. Not that I know much about it now, but I can switch on and off now. Yeah.
But at that stage, it's like a device that you've never used, and they put it in front of you and said, away you go.
It's like putting me in a rocket saying, can you please operate this? I have got no idea what I'm doing and what to press. So, yeah, that was my introduction to West Australia. Yeah, and from there, things just started changing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get into the fitness industry?
My brother was in fitness industry, and when I came here, I came to study fitness with
At TAFE, yeah.
with the mentality that I would go back to Kenya and I would get a better job than what I was doing then. I wanted to manage a place called Serena Hotel. So I thought if I come here for a year, study, if I go back, I'll be more qualified to be able to be a manager. Yeah, in that sense. So,
All right.
Yeah.
And then that obviously didn't happen.
No, it
So
didn't.
where was the turning point?
It didn't happen because when I finished it, I had met a lovely lady, and she told me, why don't you spend 1 more year here to do marketing? Because if you're going to be a manager, you need to to know how to market the gym, and you need to also know how to manage. So I started doing a diploma in marketing and managing, which I don't use it that much even now. In that sense. So I stayed here for 2 years, and at that period in 2 years, I started doing personal training.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had finished my qualification as a personal trainer, and I started doing my diploma and double diploma in business marketing and managing. And then I started earning a bit of more money doing personal training.
Right.
So I started earning over 70,000, like looking at the projection of where I'm going. I was doing maybe 60 sessions a week, and I started thinking, wow, this could work for me.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to do concrete or security or bouncing anymore, or cleaning utensils in the kitchen. These are all the jobs that I did. I said, this is easy work. I'm just talking to people, high-fiving them and saying to them, yeah, we are doing this together. You know the feeling.
I do.
Yeah.
But that's not quite fair because there's a lot of knowledge that sits underneath that.
It does, yeah.
It's like the duck on the water. It's all calm on the surface, but there's a lot of activity underneath. It's not to be underestimated.
To be honest, before I got the job at the gym that I met you at, I went to around maybe 18 or 15 gyms trying to look for a job. Yeah. And they couldn't take me because my English wasn't really, I couldn't speak that clear.
You hadn't quite
English.
mastered "G'day, mate."
No, I mean, how you going? I could actually interact or communicate with people very well. So I went to a lot of interviews and I got a lot of no's, no, we cannot, we don't have time. And then I remember going to that particular gym that I met you in, and the manager was very good. He said, hey, we've never had somebody like you here. I'm taking a risk. And that's, you're looking at maybe 19 years ago, there was not a lot of dark people, or, you're not allowed to say black, but I'm black. I'm happy for you to call me that. There was no. So he says, I'm taking a risk here. I don't know if it's going to work or not. and we will see. And he said, if after 4 weeks it doesn't work, we'll be more than happy to let you go because you had to sign a contract to stay there.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, that's fair. And I had saved money. I had saved around $500 because you had to pay $200 for rent.
To be in the gym,
Yeah. So I opened a bank account and I put that money in. I say, after my 4 weeks, I will stay again for another 4 weeks, and I'll give them the bank account that I have so that if I cannot make money, I'll run away. And if they try to get money out of that bank account,
it'll go down to zero.
Yeah, to zero. But lucky enough, when I started, I was given 20 clients to give them free or complimentary session.
All right.
Yeah, when you join this
and
gym,
then if they've had the session, they like it, they'll sign up with you.
Exactly. And out of 20, I converted 18.
Maybe all that marketing degree wasn't for nothing. You're marketing yourself.
Yeah.
And your services.
I don't think it had nothing to do with my marketing and all that. It was just
it's just
like,
you.
Yeah, like talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe people understand. I couldn't speak English. I couldn't market myself. So it was just about people actually feeling that I was genuine. I wanted to help them. And I was green, but there was that inside me, there was that part of me that wanted to help these people.
Yeah, and that's always been your drive.
Yeah. And so I got 18 clients, and you know what? Asking people to pay me $50 was so hard. Actually, it was $35. It was so hard. I was just like, oh, wow, I cannot ask these people to pay me $35. So I asked these people, and they were happy to pay me $35. And all of a sudden, my money was, I was like, wow. I'm having, $300 a week, and times that I was $700 a week, and you know what? I'm just making people do push-ups and squat. This is ideal job completely, and that's how I started. Okay. And out of those people, I think I still train maybe 5 of them.
Okay.
Yeah, 18, 19 years later.
Yeah,
I still train 5 of them, and that's how I started.
And then. So you left that gym, went to another, and then set up your own gym. In fact, more than one gym. How was that as a transition from being not an employee? I know that the trainers are on sort of contracts, but they're not running the place. If the air conditioning breaks down, that's not for them to have to fix. To now running your own business where you're the man.
I didn't live on good terms. I was fired because I felt like I was too big. And in that period, we had to sign a contract. So I started looking at, I wanted to have kids. And when I wanted to have kids, I wanted to have my partner and I so that we have the flexibility of, because I used to work from 6 in the morning to 12 o'clock, then from 2 to around 8 o'clock at night.
Right.
So I looked at it and I thought, if I'm going to have kids, this is not going to be the lifestyle that I want. So what would be the best thing for me to do that I can still enjoy it, but I can maybe go to work at 8, leave at 3.
Yep.
And the first thing that came to me was to start a franchise, or not to do a franchise, to get into the gym. So I gathered this information. We were in Sydney on one of the fitness expo. I took the information, brought it to my partner. We looked at it, and we decided, we'll have a go. So they were coming here to do a presentation. So we went. And when we went, one of the person who was in that group took a photo and posted it on Facebook saying, these are the next people who are taking the franchise, and we're looking forward to working with them. For some reason, that information got into the work I was working at, and my manager was not happy that I was going to leave, and they had that fear that I was going to take clients from the gym. Okay. So they had to force me to sign a contract, which my contract had expired. So I didn't want to sign it because I was considering leaving. And at that point, they fired me.
Okay.
They did not even allow me to go in the gym to take my bag or anything. So they just got rid of me, and that was it. And that's when I started really deeply looking at starting my own place, because I decided I didn't want that to happen to me. I didn't want somebody to tell me what to do. I still get told what to do, but at home. But I just decided, no, that's it. And I wanted to be flexible where if I had kids, I had enough time to be able to spend time with them, to be able to do what I want when I want, not to be working the crazy hours, and just to have a bit of income coming in, even if I was not at work. Because the system that I was doing then was I was exchanging time
Yep.
with money.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's what got me to starting the gym.
And I mean, that's what, over a decade or
Yeah,
so.
yeah, 13 years ago.
And then obviously expanded to multiple gyms and has gone very, very well.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, obviously, that focus is on physical health. But in the last probably 3 to 5 years, you're looking at more looking into the mental health side of the body. And I've spoken on this podcast before that the two are not, they're not mutually exclusive. You need good you want to be looking after your physical and your mental and your emotional health. But what sort of encouraged you or I suppose sparked in you to say, look, I just want to go down this additional and ultimately complementary but additional path, which is where you're at now with more with the life coaching as much as the physical coaching.
Yeah. Now, I started working with clients and they will get good results. People will come in and they will say, I want to lose weight. And we will sit down, we'll do a plan and they will lose weight. And they will maybe work with me after a period of time. One of the things I used to do is people work with me, then I'll let them go and take those tools and use them. And then they'll come back even worse. And I started asking myself, what is the thing that is missing here? And I realized that one of the things that was missing was I wasn't changing the identity. We were more focused on the results, the outcome, okay? So we were not changing our identity. We're just looking at getting the results that they wanted. And I said, how can I get my clients to have permanent results? And so I thought, changing the identity, like if you want to be a runner, you're not going to run once and say to yourself, I'm a runner.
Yep.
If you want to be a piano player, you're not going to play it once and decide, okay, this is it. We have to ask yourself, what does a runner do? And you have to be able to start changing your ways or how you think and everything to do.
So how you think about yourself.
Exactly.
And in turn, what you then do to bring that to fruition.
Exactly. So when people used to come to me and say, Tom, I want to lose weight, one of the things that I focused on was the results.
Yeah.
We want to lose weight, we're weighing on. But what about if I change this person? Not change, help them to identify some of the tools they can use to change who they are. They ask themselves the question of, how can I be a healthy person? A healthy person needs to be able to move. A healthy person needs to be able to eat well. And they start applying those principles instead of them saying, I want to lose 10 kilos. Now, it's good to have that target.
Yep.
But if you change your identity, you follow the process, the outcome will come. But for me, I used to go straight away to the outcome and processes, and it never used to work. So I decided, let's work on your mindset. Because if you shifted your mindset to be able to identify yourself as a healthy person, and visualize yourself being healthy.
So how you see yourself.
Exactly. It's going to help you more in the long run than me helping you or just focusing on the 10 kilos.
I suppose, lots of people, large majority of people have probably been on diets. And a lot of people find that they lose the weight when they're on the diet and then they put it back on and people scratch their heads. But essentially, if you go back to doing exactly what you were doing before you were on the diet, you'll end up exactly where you were before. And people sort of get surprised or sometimes even stunned and disappointed by that, but it's actually logical. And what you're really saying is that rather than just, I'm just going to change what I'm eating for a few weeks or a few months, I'm actually going to change how I approach.
Change your habits.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about drilling those habits, you changing those habits, drilling those habits to become, I want to be a healthy version of me. I want to be this person, and you start behaving as that person, that's behavior patterns. Once we change that, the results that we are looking at, whether it's losing weight, whether it's being healthy, whether it's having more energy to spend with your kids, that becomes. But unless you change who you are, you're not going to be able to get that result and become permanent.
Is really what you're doing now is much broad. It is about health and includes physical health, but it's really a lot broader than that. It's not just I might want to lose weight or want to get fitter. It might be I want to, get better control of my stress levels, or I
Exactly.
might want to make some changes in my life, and that can be many and varied, probably as many as varied as there are people.
Yep.
And so how's that sort of transition going?
It's different because people like seeing things. People like jumping on the scale and seeing the weight coming off.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to change somebody's habit, it's very hard. You know, when you go to a car sale, you see the car, you buy it, it's quite different.
Yeah.
But when you tell somebody, okay, we're going to work with you, we're going to shift how you think, you talk to them, you work with them today or tomorrow or next week, they don't see the immediate change because it's very hard to change a habit. It's very hard for people to buy into that until maybe after 6-8 weeks, they start shifting that mindset. So it's not as easy as people think it is, because it's easy to sell something that people can see because they can feel it, they can see it, they can, touch it, and they can buy it. You know, you go to a shop, you're buying a loaf of bread, you can see it, you can feel it, you can imagine it. But here it is, you're telling somebody, I'm going to change the way you think or the way you look at life or the way you... No, I'm not going to help. I'm going to help you to give you tools, because it's very hard to help people.
Yeah, you're not changing. The individual has to change themselves and has to want to change and has to want to take the steps and make the changes. But part of that, and I attended your workshop earlier in the year, was about setting goals. That somebody's goal might be, I want to lose 10 kilos, but there's also an issue underneath that, well, why do I want to lose 10 kilos?
Exactly.
And that's the why. But I suppose the concept of goals is also quite important here, because people have different goals. And if that's my intent, like if I want to be a runner, okay, I'm going to have to go running every day. I'm going to have to train. I'd have to eat a particular way. If I want to be a pianist, I'm going to have to practice the piano every day. Whatever I want to achieve in my life starts with having those goals. So is that where you start with working with people? What are they trying to achieve?
Exactly. You'd be surprised on how many people don't set goals.
Yeah.
You'd be very surprised. I find it very hard, like when you get in a car and you start driving and you don't know where you're going. I know you get somewhere.
Yeah.
You will. But you cannot measure how much time do I need? Where am I? Am I close to the end or the beginning? So the first thing I sit down with people is to be able to set their goals. And setting a goal is very important. But what's more important about the goal is why. The way you've just said it. Why do I want to achieve this? And being able to be very clear why you want it. Why does it mean a lot to you? Once you create that, it becomes easier. And, you have to be clear. I normally say clarity is power. The moment you know why you want it, it's easy for you to wake up in the morning and do it. I've got a friend of mine who, he could not wake up early in the morning, 6 o'clock, to get in the gym. Why are you laughing?
I wonder who you're talking about.
To be able to train at 6:30 in the morning, to be able to get him out of bed at 6:30 in the morning or 6 in the morning, you're either paying for his flight, you're either paying for his breakfast, or something like that. But the moment you attach a why there, and for this particular client, I look at it, the why is maybe his kids were coming, and it was all about having fun. The daughter was coming, the son was coming, the daughter's boyfriend was coming. Now there's a why. And now once you attach a goal, you attach a why to it, there's this force that helps people to go. This guy, for maybe the last 3 months, hasn't missed a session at 6:30 in the morning. Why? Because there's a stronger why to the goal that he's looking for. So that's what I do with people. I sit down with people, I understand what their goal is, then I ask them why that is important. And when we talk about why, there's the why here, and there's another 5 levels of why. Like when you're peeling off an onion.
Yes.
The part that you start crying, that is the why that is going to get it. When I see people come to the gym, they say, I want to lose weight. Why? Because I want to feel good. Why do you want to feel good? Or because I want to look good. Why do you want to look good? And then there's that part that says, I look at my body and I hate myself. Or my husband or my partner or they looked at me and they said, you are fat. Or I don't like myself. My self-worth is bad. The first why was, I just want to lose weight. Why? Because I want to look good. But now we've come down there.
Yeah.
There's that
That core issue.
Yeah, issue that is getting these people to want to lose weight. That's what I'm looking for. And that's a powerful force that is going to get you out of bed, or it's going to get you out of work, or it's going to get you not to go into the pub to be able to go and do what you want. And that's exactly what I try to help people to find.
And that, I think, if you look at human history, people have succeeded at whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There is that why.
Yeah.
I have an understanding as to why I'm wanting to do this, because that is the motivator.
Yes.
Otherwise, it really is on the surface. Yep. And if it is on the surface, then the driver isn't there.
There is the why, and that why has to be linked with two things. One of them is pain, and the other one is pleasure.
Yeah.
So if you have a why, like strong enough to go, if I say to you today, I want you to wake up every day 4 a.m, and you come and train. After that, for the next 6 months, I'm going to pay for you to go to an exotic holiday somewhere, which is pleasure. Guess what? You are going to go.
Yeah.
And then the other one will be like, you have to wake up 5 a.m. to train. If you do this, your kids are going to be successful in life. No, it's painful. No, that's pleasure. Or something like you're going to die, which is painful.
Yeah.
So now, once you link that why to a pain of pleasure theory, it becomes very easy for people to achieve it.
The key is for each person is helping them, because it's ultimately in them, helping them to unlock that.
Yes.
And if they're able to do that successfully,
or you have somebody who is going to go through everything to be able to achieve what they want. Just like that guy who landed here with $200. And I'm not saying that in a bad way or to make anyone feel bad, to now running 2-3 gyms. And so there has to be a why to be able to, the pain and pleasure again attached to it, to be able to get yourself to where you want. If you can get somebody to understand their why, and after understanding their why, link it to either pain or pleasure, you have somebody who will be driven to get what they want.
And as we look to wrap up, and we'll put down below the link so people can go to your site and get in touch with you.
Yeah.
Part of your why to go full circle is giving back to the children in Kenya.
Yeah.
You want to tell us briefly about what you're doing there, because I think it's fantastic what you're doing.
Yeah, so my mom was a beautiful, wonderful person. I think if she was in a first world country, she would be like Mother Teresa or something like that. I always say that because I'm a bit biased with that. So my partner and I, Marie, she doesn't like me saying my wife. She says, Marie, my wife. When my mom passed away 4 years ago, we came to realize how influential she was. She had a legacy at home. When we went there for the funeral, we came to realize the amount of work she did for the community and everything. And we thought of how can we continue her legacy. And her legacy for us, it's to be able to educate young girls in Kenya. And so we've taken on around 20 young girls in Kenya. And the reason why I know people, I spoke to somebody about this the other day. They go, why are you taking only girls? That's being a little bit of gender discrimination and blah, blah. I say, I'm happy for you to say that. But in Africa, in Kenya, particularly where I'm coming from, young girls at the age of 12 to 16, they're very vulnerable.
Yeah.
Very vulnerable. They drop out of school. They get pregnant. Their parents are happy for them to be given away. In a sense, they can be given money by the person who's getting married to them and all that. So the whole idea for me was to be able to empower these young girls. And if we can get one girl to be able to be a teacher, to be an accountant, that's what drives us going forward in that sense. So, we've started a charity in Kenya. It's only mostly will be for girls, and it's about giving orphans. It's actually most of these girls are orphans. Giving them education and giving them hope to know that, as much as you are where you are, things can change. So we've got 20 kids. Our goal is in time to come to actually take maybe 100 kids to school. So, yeah.
Which is brilliant. And I remember hearing at a conference a few years ago that the strongest correlation with good health is good education.
Exactly.
Globally. Water supply matters, food supply matters, all of these things are important. But the strongest correlate was education levels. So offering education to children, girls in particular, in this instance, who may not otherwise get it, really is a brilliant thing to do. And it plants the seeds and it gives them an opportunity. And ultimately, they also have to make of it what they will and do. Yeah. But at least they've had that opportunity.
Yeah, it's just having a chance. Somebody gave me a chance, as much as it wasn't the straightforward. The documents were not the right documents to get here, but somebody saw something in me and gave me a chance. So for me, I'm thinking, I look at it like it's just not only my mom's legacy, it's also giving back in a sense of somebody gave me a chance. So I just want to give one of those girls a chance to say, hey, you don't know. You could get this education and you could be something else and you could help somebody else in time to come. Yeah.
And we'll put a link to that as well. It's on a GoFundMe page if listeners and viewers are wanting to do that. Tom, absolute pleasure to have you in the studio today. Thank you so much for your time.
Dr. Joe, I cannot thank you enough for not only this, but also for being part of my life. And I know you know how grateful I am being part of you, part of your family, and also being part of this. I'm really grateful. Thank you so much for having me today.
Mate, you're welcome.
Cheers, man. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for listening to Dr. Joe Unplugged. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, like, and share. You can also follow it on all the socials. There'll be new content uploaded each week.